Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is Lee from Bleeped Up Productions and today is episode 1 of Creating a Cult. That's right, this is my series of creating a Genestealer cult army for the Warhammer 40,000 universe. That's right, my second army in 40k, and it is the Genestealer cult. Now, ever since I got into miniature gaming, I've always abided by one rule, the rule of cool. It didn't matter if the army was terrible. It didn't matter if the rules were not great for those miniatures or anything like that. If they looked cool, I played them. Simple as. And with the Genestealer cult, there is so much cool here that I didn't even know these guys were going to be amazing. So let's get straight into the meat of this episode. So obviously the new Genestealer cult codex dropped. I picked up a few of these minis before all the new Genestealer cult came out just because I loved the fact of how awesome the minis looked. Like seriously, who doesn't like guys that literally drive around on bikes, on quad bikes, use mining lasers, and basically their blood is basically a Genestealer. A Genestealer is one of the coolest models in 40k. Fight me, I dare you. There's so much cool stuff in 40k, but I think just the look of a Genestealer, gosh, so epic, so cool. So, with that being said, this series is to document how I am going to approach building a Genestealer cult army. It's not telling you this is what you should do, this is how you should do it, etc. It's just me documenting how much of a nerd I am and the process of what goes into that. So, to begin with, I have 2 of everything. Well, I have 2 of most things for the Genestealer cult, let's be honest. I've got a few of their solos, and I've got a few of the units, and I'm going to basically build these models, paint these models, and then we're going to play some games, and I'm going to give you my overall thoughts at the end of this whole series of how they are. Now, from what I've been told by my friends who play 40k, these are a very elite army, as in they're very hard to understand because they're very different and play so vastly different to so many of the different armies in the 40k universe. But that's the one thing I like about 40k. Every army plays different. But I digress. Let's get back to why I chose the Genestealer cult. So recently, with 40k getting revamped and War Machine just pretty much dying in my local area, I wanted to play another game, and a lot of my friends started getting back into 40k. So I had a look and I was like, there's nothing that really is cool, until I saw the Primaris Space Marines. Now these Marines were awesome, like literally, who doesn't like how awesome they look? They have grav tanks, they pretty much have amazing looking snipers, and guys, I'm a sucker for, yeah, that rule, the rule of cool, and they just look really cool. So, like I said earlier, I basically started with a small army when they first ever came out, the Genestealer cult, because the models looked cool. So the first thing I had was, these guys are all on mining planets. First idea I ran through my head was, right, let's look at some kind of cool source material. Red faction.
Mars, a distant crimson orb that has always signified war and bloodshed to mankind.
That amazing first-person series based on Mars, etc., I immediately was like, let's go Mars, that'd be cool. But then I realized, I don't really want to do Mars. Why don't we just do, like, mud and just dirt and just have these guys literally look like they are coming up from an uprising, kind of like in Red Faction, but not based on Mars. So I painted a few minis, and this is one of them, one of the Goliath trucks. Now, as you can see, I painted this really nice and then I destroyed it with mud. And the first thing that pops out to all my friends was, you spent hours painting that truck and then you destroyed it with mud. But to be honest, I think it turned out pretty awesome, because this was one of the centerpieces to my army at the beginning of my build. And I was like, you know what? This is where I want to go. I want to build an army that looks really pretty, but then just make it look dirty as hell. And the idea with my army going forward is I'm going to paint them, but I'm only going to paint half of them, because if I'm going to make them all look muddy, why would I waste time painting stuff that is just going to get destroyed later? So that is the whole idea behind this army. I'm going to go for an uprising theme, mud, and very thematic. So what I've got now is I have a ton of minis to paint, and I mean a lot. Like, here it is. That's a lot to paint, but I'm not going to paint them all at once. Well, I am, because I have to batch paint, but I'm going to paint them all in videos because I want to kind of document and nerd out about like the whole cool idea of the Genestealers and stuff, and like basically give you guys a little bit of fluff and also my process and thinking of how I did it. So yeah, I've got a lot to get through because painting Space Marines was easy. Painting these guys is going to be a pain because it's a Horde army. Yeah. Maybe that's the one thing I probably will take out of this project, is that I shouldn't really pick Horde armies. Let's go for big expensive models and just basically play with like 3 or 4 things on the table. But rule of cool, gotta remember that, rule of cool. So anyway, this was just the introduction episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. There's a lot coming out in the not too distant future. I'm going to let you guys know. There's going to be some painting in the next episode, so look forward to that, and a whole aspect of designing and where to go from there. So without further ado, guys, take care, have a good one, and look forward to more creating a cult in the not too distant future.